Today on the Green Olive Cooking Channel, I'm going to share with you how to make this easy pecan bar with a shortbread crust recipe. You are going to love it, and it's perfect as we are approaching fall. Pronto? Allora andiamo a cucinare. Ciao my friends, welcome to my kitchen. If you're new here, welcome. This is where I teach you easy recipes for everyday cooking, and today is going to be a super easy recipe. So to start, we are going to make our shortbread crust. So in a bowl, we are going to add our flour. To that, we're going to add our sugar, some salt, and 2 sticks of butter. I'm just going to cut the butter into small cubes so it'll be easier to blend with the flour and the sugar. And we just want to add the cube butter to our flour and sugar mixture. So now we just want to cover all this butter with some flour and sugar and just mix everything up together. Now you can do this in a food processor. It is much quicker, I will admit to that, but you don't have to have a food processor. You don't have to have fancy kitchen equipment. This will work just fine. We just want to get all the butter incorporated with all the flour and sugar until we reach a consistency of very small little fine sand looking structure. And when it's well incorporated and looks like a sand structure, that's pretty much what we're looking for. So this is perfect. So now we want to get an 8x8 pan, lined it with some butter as well as some parchment paper so it'll just be easier to lift when it comes out. And we want to take all that flour and butter mixture and place it in here. And then evenly spread it out in the pan. And you can either use your hands or a back of a measuring cup is fine, but you want to go ahead and press all that mixture in here, and this is what's going to form our shortbread crust. Now I love this recipe because it's got some of my favorite ingredients that remind me of fall. The brown sugar caramelizes with the butter and makes this caramel sauce that we're going to be making. I just love it, and it's so simple to make, and pecans are one of my favorite nuts. I really like them. They're nice and creamy, and of course pecans have a lot of nutritional value to them too. Okay, so you can see how easy that is to press into our 8x8 pan. And so now we're going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees, and we're going to cook it anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes until it kind of gets light golden brown, and then we'll start on our topping. Now we're going to make our topping for our shortbread, and so in a saucepan we are going to add 1 stick of butter. To that, some brown sugar. We've got some salt. We have some honey. And this is honey from our farm. It's so delicious and rich. If you don't have honey, you could use maple syrup instead. That's totally fine. And so now we just want to stir this until all of the butter and all the sugar and everything is incorporated. And this is just going to be over a medium heat because we don't want to burn the sugar or the butter. So while the butter and the sugar melt, we've got our pecans, and you can either put the pecans in whole or you can chop them up. But if you chop them up, I wouldn't chop them up really fine, just maybe a loose chop. I do like to chop mine up a little bit, primarily because when I go to cut the bars, they're kind of already in cut pieces, so it's a little bit easier to cut the bars and they don't break up. So I just like to give them a rough chop. But again, that's up to you. You can keep them whole if you want. It does look nicer whole, but it's easier to cut when they're kind of chopped. So now that our mixture is coming to a boil, now we can add our pecans in here. And I like to use the pecans because they are a softer nut. So I think it's a little bit easier to bite into. I mean, you could use almonds or even walnuts would be fine, but that is why I like to use the pecans. And we just want to make sure all the pecans are coated in the syrup. And then to that, we are going to add a couple tablespoons of heavy cream and about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we just want everything to be, again, well incorporated. And now our topping is all done. We just have to wait until our shortbread is cooked, and then I'll show you how to top it and finish off this dessert. All right, so now our crust is done. It's nice and golden brown. So now we're going to take our wonderful pecan caramelized mixture here and just spread it all over the top. And now we're going to place that back in the oven for another 20 minutes or so. The pecan bars have now cooled and I have cut them. These are just so delicious. You can see all the caramel and the pecan. I love these. I remember growing up in Canada at Christmas time, the turtles was like one of the desserts that always people would bring to everybody's house and deliver. And so this dessert actually reminds me of those turtle chocolate candies. And of course you could actually take some chocolate and just kind of drizzle chocolate over this as well. But you're gonna love this pecan bar. You're gonna love serving it at the holiday time. It's got this great caramel sauce, the pecans, and not to mention that buttery shortbread crust. It is so delicious, great with a cup of coffee or some hot tea. But this is gonna be a great one for the holidays. So I hope you guys give this one a try. Until next time, ciao, ci vediamo dopo.